Video gaming has become a major economic force, accounting for $11.7 billion in revenue in the calendar year 2008. Modern video games are among the most demanding applications to be run on personal computers, and it is gaming, in large part, which has driven the recent developments in computer hardware. The gaming industry is concerned with not only the design and technical execution of games, but also the distribution vehicle and ultimate involvement of the end user. Among the current industry leaders is a company named Valve, with an estimated 70% of the overall digital distribution market for video games. Their domination in the marketplace is due to the unique approaches in both the game development and marketing sectors. To understand how a company like Valve developed, it is useful to examine the history of video gaming and its innovations and developments. What is game innovation? Basically, game innovation is the introduction of a new experience in a video game. The first games were developed as experiments within scientific labs. The first such game was developed in 1947. Known as the Cathode Ray Tube Amusement Device, it was a missile simulator game based off of radar displays from World War II. In 1952, the first graphics-based computer game, OXO, was developed. This game was a major breakthrough in artificial intelligence, pitting players against the AI in tic-tac-toe. While online gaming over the internet is common today, the first known instance of online gaming was in 1969 using the Plato system. Plato was a computer system that consisted of a mainframe with approximately 1,000 terminals worldwide. Rick Blome utilized Plato to program a two-player version of the game Space War to create the first online game. In 1974, the game Maze Wars was released. This game introduced the genre of the first-person shooter, and it marked the first time that two independent computers were connected over a network to play against each other. As games developed, they moved from text-based to graphical representation. In computer-rendered virtual worlds, the human eye is very susceptible to bad lighting. To provide realistic lighting requires long computation time, which significantly slows gameplay. The game Wolfenstein 3D used a new technique called raycasting to render images in pseudo 3D. A major breakthrough in image quality came with the development of light maps. A light map is a data structure which contains the brightness of surfaces, thus displaying luminance values instead of colors. Quake was the first computer game to use light maps to speed rendering while preventing distortion in the image production, and produce true 3D image rendering. In the 1990s, having become millionaires working at Microsoft, Gabe Newell and Mike Harrington decided to leave their corporate positions and fulfill one of their dreams, creating a fun, innovative work environment geared to making innovative products. They set out to accomplish their goal by creating a video game development company. They were introduced to id Software's John Carmack, who convinced them to license the Quake engine as a base for their game development. In 1996, the gaming company Valve was established. When it came time to staff the company, they chose to hire modders instead of professional game designers. Modders, a slang expression derived from the verb modify, are individuals adept at modifying pieces of hardware or software to perform a function not originally conceived or intended by the designer. Valve realized the potential talent and unconventional way of looking at problems that modders could bring to the company. In 1998, Valve released its first game, Half-Life, onto the market. Half-Life was the biggest game of the year and is still one of the best-selling games of all time. Unlike other games, Half-Life portrayed the game's storyline uniquely by never leaving the perspective of the game's protagonist, Gordon Freeman. This was accomplished due to the fact that the game used heavy scripting as opposed to most games on the market at the time. The game also had revolutionary technology in the way of correct animations and had a brilliant story with a stunning twist halfway through.
So when we started Half-Life, we were just two guys who were working on productivity software and operating systems, and the odds that we could actually do an entertainment product were very low. So our goals with Half-Life were pretty minimal. We just wanted to execute competently on an entertainment product. But the main thing we wanted to do was bring together a group of people and build something that was fun. We really had no expectation of what was going to happen once we released Half-Life. The critical and commercial success, though, actually was very daunting for us. I mean, all of these people were sending us email, and we were winning all of these awards. And, that was great for about 10 minutes, and then we realized, oh my God, now we have to do it again.
Because Valve's founders did not come from the gaming community, they had an innovative approach to game design. Having worked on operating systems and functional products at Microsoft, they viewed game design more as an open set where the consumer could change things compared to a closed set where everything in the game came as it was. This was a revolutionary change for the gaming industry. In a controversial move, Valve released its code for Half-Life to its customers. Shortly after, the modding community had produced several mods. 3 of them caught Valve's attention, and Valve eventually hired the creators of these mods and went on to take the mods and recreate them as official products. In 2004, Valve released Half-Life 2. The game boasted advanced artificial intelligence with proper animations and lip syncing, as well as the most realistic physics engine to date. The new Source engine that Valve had developed was stunning and allowed for the creation of a living, breathing virtual world for the players to see through the eyes of the game's protagonist, Gordon Freeman.
For people who haven't played the Half-Life series before, Gordon is just an ordinary scientist going to work one day when the world sort of falls apart. The adventures that he goes through are really formative. How he goes from being just a sort of another anonymous face in the crowd to being a central figure in the events that occur at Black Mesa is really that progression that the player goes through as they understand what it means to be a hero in the Half-Life universe. One of the things that we were all reacting to, we were all gamers, and we had a sense that the games were sort of drifting into this direction of being reduced to, you know, being the shooting gallery, right? You had these targets and you were blasting away at them. And I think that was sort of a little bit dangerous because the people who played these games best, that was what the experience was like. The 10th time they played through Doom, you know, they'd completely mastered it. Whereas what had really been exciting to me when the first time I played through Doom was how incredibly scared I was and how much of an atmosphere and a world I thought was out there, you know, and the potential that the medium had for doing that even more so. So that's what we were going after is a mix of problem solving, a mix of adventure and exploration, and a mix of action.
In addition to innovations in game development, Valve also introduced a new marketing model with the creation of the Steam platform. Steam is an online store allowing for digital distribution of content. This allowed Valve to sell game content without the use of a publisher, thus significantly increasing profit margins. Today, Steam hosts over 800 games as well as many mods and downloadable content for games, and a community. Steam also hosts a player base of over an estimated 20 million active users. Valve continued to surprise the gaming industry with new marketing strategies. Instead of focusing on new standalone games, which would require extended development times, they focused on introducing the concept of game episodes. These were shorter continuations of existing games. This strategy also kept the end user happier as they received additional gameplay within a shorter time window at a lower cost. Another marketing innovation was the production of a bundled game package. The Orange Box was a game bundle including some of their most popular games along with shorter unconventional games such as Portal. This marketing technique allowed Valve to test market new risky game platforms by bundling them with more conventional games. Portal, a combination first-person shooter and puzzle game, has become legendary, and in all likelihood would not have been sold under a conventional marketing plan. On November 17, 2008, Valve released Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead was a zombie apocalypse co-op game. Left 4 Dead had an advanced AI that became known as the AI Director. The AI Director controlled all of the AI players and zombies, as well as spawning certain items in zombies and changing the difficulty slightly based on how the players were performing. The AI Director increased the game's replay value massively by ensuring that no game would be the same as another. Exactly a year after the first game's released, Valve released Left 4 Dead 2 on November 17, 2009. Left 4 Dead 2 was generally a much improved version of Left 4 Dead 1, building on the first game's successes. So, what does the future hold for the video game industry? Current digital distribution involves the selling of games over the internet to the game player. 3 companies, however, are looking at streaming games to the user's PC. This has several advantages and disadvantages to conventional and digital distributed gaming. As for what comes next with the video game development industry, we'll have to wait and find out.